The federal government is trying out a pilot program that would give inmates access to Pell Grants. Pell Grants are supposed to help people pay for college, and it is limited to a very small amount, especially when you consider the high costs of college. But with these grants, you don't have to pay it back, and it does help you make college a little more affordable. Now, even though the Education Department hasn't been very specific about the types of inmates that would qualify for this or the types of programs that would qualify for it, it does seem like a good idea, especially when you consider that it would lower the recidivism rate. That's the main goal of providing education to inmates. So Congress passed legislation back in 1994 banning government student aid to prisoners in federal or state institutions. By setting up the proposed experimental sites, the administration would be seeking to get around the ban with this pilot program. Okay, so inmates are not supposed to get free money for college, but the loophole is this is a pilot program, and we'll see how it works. At first, I had a knee-jerk reaction to this because obviously there are lots of law-abiding students out there that are dealing with student loan debt, and I feel like they deserve the money, okay? And this only goes to low-income people. The maximum award for the 2015-2016 school year is about $5,775. But here's the thing. Our justice system doesn't do enough to rehabilitate people. We have too many nonviolent drug offenders in prison. A lot of them go back to prison because we don't have a system set up to help them become productive members of society. So if this helps with recidivism, then I'm in favor of it. But for anyone who just kind of looks at it on the surface, it does sound like a shady deal for regular students.
If we had anywhere near a just system, then this would be an open question. Under the current system, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, definitely give it to them. Okay, we're throwing half the people in federal prison are there because of drug offense. This prohibition is insane. They should never be in prison in the first place. So we're imprisoning a whole generation of people that happen to be born in the wrong neighborhood. Okay, where the main industry is selling drugs, where there's no other opportunity, where we've drained their schools of all the money there is. They can't even take their textbooks home. They have nobody's there to tell them, hey, you know what, you can get an education and do other things. And then we blame them for the industry that we created and put them in prison. So if you want to give people in prison an opportunity to actually learn, to go to college and have another opportunity, well, under this system, I love that. So yes, so you're going to get a story one of these days from some Republican asshole who's going to say, oh my God, a murderer wind up getting a Pell Grant and this is outrageous and la la la. Yeah, I know, but we don't want, if they're going to come out of prison, right, wouldn't it be better if they came out college educated and actually got a real job instead of going back to a life of crime, right?
Right.
So I think the answer is, even if in the worst case scenarios where it's a terrible hardened criminal and you unharden them by getting them a college education and having them get a real job, that's still a win.
It is a win. So let me give you some statistics. Rand actually did a study on this to see, what kind of impact education would have for prisoners. The study found that inmates who took part in education programs behind bars had 43% lower odds of returning to prison than inmates who had not. Supporters say the correctional education programs are cost-effective compared with the cost of reincarceration, right? So it's actually cheaper in the long run. But another thing to keep in mind is that this is only half of the issue, Cenk, because yes, you can provide them an education and they're more likely to find a job once they get out of prison. But once you're a convicted felon and you're filling out job applications, a lot of them ask you whether or not you've ever been convicted of a felony. And if you say yes, you're not going to get that job. So the stigma associated with being a convicted felon also needs to be diminished somehow. And I know, look, there are some crimes like rape or murder or, assault with a deadly weapon where a company would feel uncomfortable hiring someone. But what about the people out there who did get incarcerated for drug offenses and they're nonviolent criminals? Right? They deserve a fair shot, and I hate that they're grouped together with all the other criminals.
And most companies aren't going to pay attention to that. You check that box off and you're done. You're not going to get a job. It could have been for loitering. It doesn't matter. You're done, right? So, look, I'm going to lib out on this. I think once you've served your sentence, that's it. It's over, man. We can't keep punishing people to the end of time. So, oh, you served your sentence, but now for the rest of the time, you got to check this box off and that box off. You could only live here or you could live there, but you can't live anywhere else. And on and on and on it goes. Okay, man, we already imprison people at a greater rate than any other country. We punish people. We punish them really hard unless they're bankers. Okay, so enough, man. There's just no mercy left in the country at all. Again, unless you're incredibly rich or powerful, then you can claim affluenza or get off for the largest fraud in American history, all those things. But if you're an average American, we have no mercy for you, and we're sick of it.